I would love to be proven wrong if Rahul Gandhi tomorrow announces Navjot Singh Sidhu as the Congress chief ministerial face for the upcoming assembly elections. In all probability, that is not going to happen. Charanjit Channi could well be the Congress face to lead the party in the elections. The Congress will, of course, try and state manage a photo opportunity where Sidhu will be coaxed and prompted to endorse Channi as the CM face. There is also the possibility of an underhand deal brokered by the Congress High Command of distribution of power between the two men in case the Congress wins at the hustings. But that is unlikely because the Punjabi Hindu face of the party, Sunil Jakhar, has also thrown his hat in the ring. Secondly, and more important, Sidhu feels aggrieved that after giving his all to the party in so many different ways, he is being sidelined to favor Channi. This episode is not about whether Sidhu had it coming or not. It is more about asking the question who the real Navjot Singh Sidhu is. A man fluent in English, Hindi and Punjabi who quotes from Hindu scriptures, advances the cause of Hindu Sikh unity, but at the same time goes to Pakistan to hug General Bajwa and proclaim to the world his admiration for Imran Khan. Sidhu is the same man who was once an admirer of Modi, and he is also the same man who in a sense ridiculed the Prime Minister when he recently visited Punjab and faced an unprecedented security threat. A man clever by half, prone to overreaching himself with an ability to create more enemies than friends. Hi and welcome all to the CAA show. CAA, as all of you know, is Conversations and Analysis, and my name is Juggi Bhasin. To subscribe to the show, press the big red button on the right hand corner of your screen. Subscription, as all of you know, is completely free. So let us first understand what Sidhu's real strengths are. His biggest strength is not his famed communicating ability. In fact, my argument is that this ability is turning out to be his biggest weakness, his nemesis. The litmus test for a real good communicator is not how much and how powerfully one can speak. It is how much and when to speak, and especially when not to speak. And on all these counts, Navjot Sidhu is a disaster. Sidhu's real strength is that in the murky world of Punjab politics, there have been no allegations of corruption leveled against him. He has a clean image, a man full of hyperbole, but still clean as a whistle. And that is a big thing in Punjab politics, considering the fact that so many ministers and politicians are tainted for being in cahoots with the sand mining and drug mafia. So instead of basing his strength, his politics on this particular strength, Sidhu mistook his communicating prowess as the key that would open the door and put him on the chief minister's chair. His over-the-top quotes, prognoses, and one-liners have ironically diminished his image instead of enhancing it. When he was in the BJP, he would complain that the BJP had used for him only during elections to draw crowds and use him as a rabble-rouser. He was not being given any position of importance or significance in the Punjab BJP unit or on the national stage. So Sidhu left the BJP for the Congress for better prospects. But it turned out to be cruel irony that the Congress used him the same way the BJP had once done. The Congress, in its time-worn practice of cutting the crown under the feet of anyone, individual, consolidating power in the states ruled by them, used Sidhu to undermine Captain Amrinder Singh. Not a day passed when he would not rush to Delhi to plead his case or undermine the other before Sonia Gandhi or the Gandhi siblings. Navjot Sidhu, for the first time in his political career, felt important and was convinced that the Gandhi siblings were his best bet to not only force out Amrinder from the party, but also to help him stake his claim to the CM chair. To make all that happen, Sidhu underwent a transformation. His juppies and puppies with Bajwa and Imran Khan were no coincidence or a brainstorm to sup with the enemy. He went down that path to impress Rahul Gandhi. He calculated that Modi could not stand Imran Khan and vice versa, and perhaps to make the opposite happen of cozying up to Imran Khan would perhaps impress Rahul Gandhi. Subsequently, as the drama unfolded, Sidhu became the siblings' hatchet man and played a huge role in completely dividing the Punjab cabinet, publicly humiliating Captain Amrinder Singh and forcing his exit from the party. Road cleared, Sidhu expected his name to go up the flagpole as a CM face of the Congress party. But the siblings calculated he was too much of a loose cannon and a spoiler with streaks of insubordination to lay claims to the chair. Channi was elevated from nowhere and built up in record time as the biggest Dalit hope and voice of the party in decades. The Congress bosses calculated that Channi would bring in a large chunk of Punjab Dalit votes in the elections, while Sidhu, at best, could get less than 1/3 of the Jat Singh vote, the other 2/3 being divided between Bhagwant Mann and Captain Amrinder Singh and the Akalis. Sidhu therefore has once again been left between a rock and a hard place. He has nowhere to go, no party wants to give him entry, and it is almost curtains for him in the Congress party. A couple of days back, he undertook a pilgrimage to the Vaishno Devi shrine to send the message to the Congress that if pushed to the wall, he could jeopardize their Hindu vote and their Hindu base. And he could even think of perhaps going back to the BJP. But his shenanigans are not cutting ice with anyone. A time is fast approaching when even the Congress will not have any use for him. The doors to other parties are also shut for him. He has overreached himself, and this time, even his famed communicating ability might not get him out of the hole he has dug for himself. So, on this note, we come to the end of the CAA show of this particular episode. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode. And if you like our show, please do subscribe to us. And on this note, it's goodbye and cheers from my end.